We're streaming today, so if you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. State your name and your affiliate. Streaming ready? Okay, Coach?
Obviously, this week is a conference game. We haven't had one of those of late. An opponent that really has an explosive offense. Quarterbacks coming back. Montanez and Chenault is probably one of the best players in the Pac-12, maybe one of the best offensive players in the country. They're an explosive offense, especially in the second half. Scored 72 points. Their opponents have only scored 27. So for some reason, they haven't gotten off to some slow starts. But second half, they really turn it on and play good football. So they're very balanced. They run the ball, play with two tight ends a little bit more, and I think that's Mel's style a little bit. Some SEC version of a package of two tight ends. They run the ball fairly well. They throw it defensively. The 3-4 system. Bring pressure at times. Drop 8 at times in coverage. So. His footprint is being put on this football team. Very physical football team, and can score points, averaging 36 points a game. So we need to start scoring points on offense if we're going to be competitive going through this Pac-12 gauntlet of teams we have to play. And as I said before, we continue to try to get better every week. So that's kind of where we're at as a football team.
Chris Carvin, Son of a Source. Herm, can you walk us through the conversations that led to your decision to reshuffle the offensive line, and then how you thought that they performed in light of the challenge that was there?
I thought about that after the first game, to be quite honest, knowing that we're probably taking a guy that is up for a bunch of awards at the center position and moving him to left tackle. That was going to be a little bit of a problem for him as well as our offense. And then after watching us play, I came to the conclusion and said, look, we got a freshman quarterback. Just start some more of them over there. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's what we got. So what are we afraid of? And I said, let's just move him back. He can solidify the offensive line, can take a lot of pressure off the guard now, who we moved from center to guard. And we're going to have a left tackle that's going to be a freshman. And we can help him at times, chip and bring the tight end to protect him, especially against the team we just played, going on the road. So that was kind of my thinking. And I said, I think it is the best thing for our offense, because then we went 3 weeks in a row, we changed the offensive line. I said, this is it. I don't want to change it anymore. This is it. Let's call them in. So we called them all in on, was it Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. I said, here's the deal. And they said, really? I said, yeah. That's what we're going to do. And so they were all good. And we went to practice and went to work. And they did a pretty good job, actually. The right guard played really good, and Ladarius, for the most part, he did a pretty good job as well. Cabral, that's his world. He lives in that world. So I just think going forward, hopefully that'll help us. We can get some things going. Those guys got to play together. And it's hard when you move in pieces all the time. But due to injuries and some other things, we had no choice. And I think early in the season, this is what you find out. You find out about your players. You find out what they can do well. But that needed to be solidified going forward. So hopefully no one gets hurt, and that's the lineup.
Hood Rabino, Devil's Digest. Herm, last year you talked about made the team possibly not handling success in an effective way. Ironically, after a Michigan State game, you pointed to that point in the season. You remind us all the time, 28 freshmen and redshirt freshmen are playing this year. How do those guys handle success effectively differently than 2018?
We're going to find out, because it's a big week for them. It's an opponent that can play very well and can put points on the board. And I think it's a good test for us again. It really is. You've had a little bit of success, and how do you handle it? Last year we were in a similar spot. We had some success, and we got our nose punched in. And so we'll find out. All the warning signs are there, and I'm going to talk about it all week. Then we're going to go in the ball yard, and we're going to find out. But we'll see how we handle it.
Coach Paul Richardson with Sports Cave. You have a lot of freshmen that play, and they've played this whole year, and they always seem calm, and the moment never seems too big. What is that an attest to, that they never seem rattled at all?
Well, hopefully the environment that they play in and they're coached in. I mean, I would hope that eventually that is part of our DNA. And that's all about trust. I think them trusting, and I don't want to put it on me because it's not me, but our staff, how we handle things, how I get it all the time from these guys. That coach, you just always kind of stay like this. And I say, yeah, I have to. I say, because I got to make decisions. And I don't get caught up in all that other stuff. And I just think that we want them to be emotional, right? But see, I don't want people emotional. I want people passionate. Because when you're emotional, you make errors. You just do. You see it. You see it every week on television. You see it every week in the games. Emotional decisions, guys, then they clap their hands, my bag. Well, not really. It's the whole team's bag. Be passionate. And you know, and I think when big moments arise, there's a calmness you have to have. Knowing, okay, let's think about the situation. Last drive, conversation I had with the quarterback. I said, here it is. We're not going to get the ball back. We need to score. He looks at me and says, Coach, we're good. I said, okay, go do it. You know, and they go out there and they execute it, you know, and it all worked out for us.
Hi, Coach. Welcome back.
Thank
Tressa
you.
from 3TV CBS 5.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you kind of piggybacks off of the 28 freshmen that you do have, and obviously these wins necessarily aren't going to be the flashiest or the prettiest or the big wins, but how do you balance winning games versus setting up the foundation for the future?
Well, they both go hand in hand, I think, and I think when you win, it gives you more confidence as a player. You know, you've kind of won a game, and it's not pretty. Obviously, right now, offensively, we're trying to find our way, and you keep building confidence on little things that you're able to do. That was a big drive at the end of the game against a very good team in a stadium that was crowded with their fans, and they were able to execute some things. It wasn't pretty, but when you look at the last drive, and I highlighted some things. First of all, it started with pass protection. They did an excellent job pass protecting. We needed to run a certain route. We dialed it up. We got it. That whole series, I pointed it out to the team, look, this was the last series of the game. Now we're going to possess the ball. All these things had to go right, and you guys did it. And so hopefully we can continue to build on that. But we're work in progress now. This is not over yet. I mean, it's by no stretch of the imagination, and we're going to hit some potholes, and it's just when we hit them, I'll be up here, and I'll basically be talking the same way. I'm not going like, oh, you know, the house is on fire. We're good. We got water sprinklers. We can put the fire out. Don't worry about it. We're going to be okay, you know. But that's just me. I keep telling you folks that, and I think you guys think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. That's just who I am. That's my personality. I get excited. I get excited when the kids do things good. That's when I get excited. I get excited when the game's over with, to sit over in the corner and watch them. That's what makes me happy, because they've done all the work, and they get the payoff of winning a football game. There's nothing like that when you sit in a locker room and you watch them. I don't even say anything. I just sit there, like I just watch them. And I watch their personalities come out. It's a fun deal for them, you know, and there's a lot of work to do, and they understand that.
Doug Haller, The Athletic. Herm, your kicker has been really good, but can you just give us an update on the status of Brandon Ruiz?
Yeah, we're going to find a little bit more. He was a little bit sore. We thought Brandon was going to try to kick this week. Then he went out and practiced, and he felt sore again. We said, okay, let's shut him down. And we're fortunate enough to have a good kicker. It's unbelievable to have two of them, you know, and he's done a really good job for us. I mean, he's made, 8 in a row or something like that. So when the other guy comes back, we'll find out. But until then, he's our kicker.
Greg and then Jeff.
Coach, good to see you. Greg Moore,
Thank you, bro.
Arizona Republic.
Mhm.
So aside from calling Nikhil to come run scout team, what do you do with 2? How do you prepare for number 2 for Colorado?
Oh boy, he's really hard. He's a really good football player. It's fun to watch him on tape. you just know that, like last year, guy scored 4 touchdowns. I don't know. He scored 4. He scored 28 points. He scored all of them. And you better be ready for him because he is, there's times when all of a sudden you don't hear from him, but in big moments they're going to find a way to get him the ball. What they do now, they know when they need a play, they're going to orchestrate the formation, whether he's in the backfield as the quarterback, whether they run him in some motion, on fly motion to give him the ball, whether they get him out on the edge and throw it up. And the quarterback does a really good job of throwing the deep ball. That's what they do well. He really, really has a nice touch. So we have to know where he lines up and see if we can slow him down some.
Jeff and then Michael.
Yeah, Jeff Metcalf, Arizona Republic. Other than Ruiz, how did your health come out, Kalen Thomas, and just generally? And then can you just comment on the Pac-12 officiating mistake?
Sure. As far as health-wise, I think we're okay. I mean, we're a little sore. That was a physical football game on both sides of it, and I think we came out of it okay. There's always going to be some guys sore, obviously, but that's football. As far as the officiating, I made a comment this morning, and I say this all the time, and it's true. They never have a home game, and it's it's tough on them, and a lot of things happen in games, and I don't get involved in judging the officials or screaming at them. I just don't. It does you no good. It's a waste of time, and it gets you on television. But I really don't want to be on television. I really don't for all that kind of stuff. So the play that they're talking about, it's kind of in between, because Cam walked up in the box, but as he's walking, the ball was about ready to be hiked, and so that's the issue. He walked up in that neutral zone where you have to be set. He wasn't set long enough. They felt it was hurling over the guy, okay? And, it happens. I can say some other things, but I won't. And they missed the call. Okay, they missed the call, and sometimes they miss calls. I mean, I've been in games where they've missed some calls, and I understand it, and I don't say anything. I don't worry about it. I don't make a big deal out of it. It's just football. Sometimes things happen. We were fortunate, obviously, but there's some other things that go along in the game. We could sit here and say this and this, but we don't do that. I don't do that. We're able to win a football game on the road against a very, very good football team, and a lot of things happen in that game. 17 fouls. 17 fouls. That's a lot of fouls in a football game. They had 10. I think we had 7. And so just leave it at that. That's all I can say on it, to be quite honest.
Coach Michael Cartino, Sports Hangover. To kind of piggyback what you're saying with the offense, work in progress, but defensively, it just seems from the first week on, guys are getting in rotations. Obviously they kept you in the game. I know they missed field goals, but each week do you just feel the defense is developing more chemistry and continuity?
They're starting to get a personality, and still there's improvement, a lot of improvement there. If you're going to be a great defense, then that last series, they don't get in a position to do that. If you're going to be a great defense, especially on the road, that's when you become really salty. On the road to do it, and then you become like, uh-oh. But I think the thing they've done, and they've limited points to keep us in games. It's going to be hard this week because these guys can score. They 36 points a game, and they got some guys and got a quarterback. And, both these guys are going to be playing on Sundays. So we better get ready. But they've done a good job of keeping us in the game. And that was the whole issue or concept that we had when the season ended last year. We're going to have to play defense early. Might have to play defense the whole season this way. I don't know. But if we do, that's what you do. You're on scholarship to play defense. So go play defense. Your job is don't let them score. I lived that world my whole life. So you just live it. And is it hard? It's hard. It's really hard. And I think you have to have tough-minded players to do that, because every quarter you just feel like, man, can we have a lead? Well, sometimes it doesn't happen until late, and then when it happens, you got to close it out. You got to close the game out defensively. So we're still working.
Matt and Greg.
Coach Matt Roy, Cronkite News.
Yes, sir.
Last year, every loss that came in the Pac-12 was by one score or less. Do you feel that this season, this team has the ability to close those games out?
Have you watched our offense? Have you been in a dark room with somebody? Have you been on punishment for 3 weeks or what? Come on. What are you talking about? We're just playing. We're just trying to find a way to win a game. And that every week, there's always a plan of trying to win. This week it was withstand the onslaught in the first half because these guys had got out to big leads. Their first 2 opponents at home. And that's all I talked about all week. Is to just make it ugly as we can. And if you do that, then all of a sudden the script changes. And you take the fans out of the game. You take all that emotion out of that stadium, it goes flat because they don't have a lead. And we're not throwing on the road against a really good defense with a freshman quarterback and 2 freshman offensive linemen. That doesn't bode well for anybody. I don't care who you are. And we didn't want to get into that game. And so that was the plan of making it where people just kept turning the channel and said, I don't want to watch this because there's not scoring. And it's okay, because I was loving it. I was sitting there and said, we're doing good right now, boys. And we went in the locker room, and I told them, I said, okay, half the plan is done. Now we got to go finish it. And to their credit, and maybe they don't know any better because they're so young. They just say, yeah, coach, we're going to go do this. And I said, okay, and I said, let's go. And we went out, and they kept playing. And that's what they do. That's just what they do. And good for them, and good for the coaching staff, because we didn't change what we thought we needed to do to win. We didn't get into, we got to do this now. No, you don't. Just stick with the plan. Don't deviate unless they make you change. And right now, we're playing good enough defense where we can punt the ball, just don't move the ball some, play good in the red zone. Fortunate the kicker missed some kicks, but even if he made the kicks, we're still within a score. We still got a chance. And that's all you want. You just want a chance, man. That's football. Just give yourself a chance. Don't muck it up. Just give yourself a chance. And that's hard for young kids because they don't understand that sometimes. But they were good enough to figure it out, and we got out of there with a win.
Greg, and then Tressa, and then Chris.
Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Coach, you've got a unique perspective, right? You've been in the game, been on TV, right? I'm curious, what have you seen? When do people on my side of the profession stand up on a table and go, yo, everybody look at this defense, right? Because your defense is playing great, but we end up talking about the O-line, we end up talking about the freshman quarterback. What's it going to take for everybody to say, man, these guys are really playing good defense?
Well, I think in sports, regardless of whatever sport you cover, offense brings fans to the stadium because people want to see scoring, right? That's what they believe. Unless you watch a soccer game, right? Then you kind of sit there and go, okay, they might score, they might not. It might be 1 or 2 to 3 or whatever. And I'm not anything about, and my girls played soccer, so I get it. You just sit there and you go, okay, just kind of going around. You score, yeah, good, right? But most sports, people score. People want to see points. That's what we do. We want to see scoring. We want to see action. We want to see this, right? And so I think when you play defense, it's like, yeah, they play defense. Everybody wants you to play defense the last 2 minutes when you got the lead. Hold them, right? But at the end, it doesn't. We're in a world now because everything is on a screen and you can go to something, and it just that gets your mind going. Man, they're going fast and they're scoring. It's really. And you play defense, it's not pretty. It's not pretty, and so that's it. And look, why wouldn't they talk about it? You got a freshman quarterback. You had a running back that almost rushed for 2,000 yards last year. And some people say he's not playing good. Well, I don't know about that. He scored 3 touchdowns, 3 games. He's made big plays in big moments. He scored a touchdown when we needed a touchdown. I don't know. I get the yards. I get all that. But he's dealing with a situation, and he hasn't blinked. He has not blinked. He goes in the huddle on the first drive with the offense before they go on the field, and he's screaming at them, telling them, this is going to be hard today. before we want to field. It's the first thing the guy says is, this is really going to be hard, and we're going. It's just don't worry about it. Let's just go play. And he says that. I mean, so we all get it. But look, you got a freshman quarterback. Guys won 3 games. I don't know. And this one, he was big down the stretch with his legs. I mean, the guy took off and ran. I mean, it's 4th and 13, and he takes off. He sees the coverage. He sees this 2-man where the guys turn their back, and Eno gets out of the backfield and shields the guy, and he runs to the first down sticks. And he gets out the pocket again and gets it down with inside the 5. He made 2 gigantic plays with his legs. I mean, so it's worthy to talk about because he's a freshman. You know, I mean, so I get it. Quarterback always gets talked about, right? Every sport, in football, quarterbacks, they're going to talk about the quarterback, right? They talk about the quarterback here in Arizona. You know, he runs around and makes some plays, and, you know, so I get it. That's what happens.
Hi, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Tressa, 3TV CBS 5. A two-part question, piggybacking off of what you just said. That game-winning drive, though, that moment, just the composure that your quarterback did have in those linemen. How do you not let the moment get too big in a stadium with 100,000 fans screaming at you, one in the other direction? And then off of that, rankings, obviously, you kind of, they're there. But what are your thoughts on just the recognition that ASU now they upset the ranked Michigan and now they're number 24?
Well, yeah, that's really good. Doesn't do anything for you. Doesn't help you win a game. We dealt with that last year. We got hit in the nose, and rankings went away. Bye-bye. You know, and there was probably some other teams this week that got beat. And I've always said this about football, especially college football. You have so many personalities with young people on your team. That's why there's upsets every week. It always happens. It just happens because you don't know what these kids are going through when they leave the building. You don't know all the other things they're dealing with in their brains and how they compartmentalize all that stuff and how they deal with it, right? And so, to me, that's why when I watch college football, there's always going to be some upsets or there's going to be some close games, right? And you go, how did that happen? Because it's a game of passion and all those things. And when the passion becomes emotion off the field because of events that they've dealt with as student athletes, we forget about that. But they're student athletes. They got a lot on their plate. It's not just being a football player. This is not their living. Now, some of them want to make a living doing this, but they actually have a social life. And how does that affect them on Saturday? And as a coach, you don't know. We don't babysit these guys. They just come to work and we go, okay, and they smile and you don't know if the guy got a problem or not. Now some of them will come to your office and talk to you. So to me, that's what makes college football so unique, because this is why you watch every Sunday and you scratch your head, right? You just do. So that's nothing new to me. That's how I look at it, quite honest.
And Coach, sorry, back on the previous part, just how did that moment not get too big and just keeping the composure in that necessary drive?
I think we work on things like that in practice. Now, there's no one out there. There's crowd noise. You know, we went in the bubble and had the crowd noise, and we practice all this stuff, you know, and hopefully it works when it's time. But the quarterback was good because I knew he was fine because I talked to him before he went out there. And I said, hey, look, this is it. We got to do something. Coach, we're going to be good. I said, okay, go do it. He did. And when he was done, he walked back over to me and said, Coach, you good? I said, I'm good now. Now let's maybe the defense can stop him and see. But there was not a doubt in his mind that for him that they were going to be able to move the ball. That's how he felt. But that's who the kid is. I mean, we have some really good conversations on the sideline. It's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm.
Herm, two questions. First,
Sure.
What did you think about seeing DJ Davidson come back into the game after what looked like a pretty bad injury? And then, secondly, can you just speak to what winning does for a program in terms of the momentum, in terms of recruiting, in terms of young guys just thinking that they can accomplish whatever?
Well, I think for when he went down, I said, well, you can't hurt Mandrake. So how can he go down? You know, and I told our trainer, I said, that's Mandrake. Get that guy back on the field. He's okay. You just give him do something. That's Mandrake. You can't hurt Mandrake. And luckily, nothing, the pinky, you know, but it looked bad. It really did. And I was nervous. Oh, man, don't hurt him. We can't lose him right now, right? So you know, he got back in the game and obviously and really played good. As far as recruiting, I think it helps you. When you play at national games, you get exposure. And I think the thing that what helps us the most, if you're a freshman in high school or a senior in high school, you're going, man, they play a lot of freshmen over there. We do. We do. That's not it. That wasn't intended, right? But it's kind of, that's what we have. And so they understand if you go there, they'll actually let you compete. And if you're worthy, you get playing time there. So that's kind of a little bit of our program, and it helps when you win. Obviously, it always helps when you win. So right now, we're doing okay. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Coach, Paul Richards, Sports Game. So this year, almost set up exactly like last year. 2 big wins, beat Michigan State, get the ranking, and like you said,
Yeah.
carbon copy. What are the players warning against to the younger players? This is what happened this year. Not coming from the coaches, but are the older players saying to the younger players, hey, this is what happened last year, and we got ahead of our skis. We're not going to do it again.
Well, you know, that's the conversation you want from your leadership group, because I think sometimes players don't realize when you have these opportunities, you know, they don't come along a lot when you're rolling like this, and we're rolling, and we're not even playing good yet on offense. I shouldn't say not good, not consistent on offense. So I think that's going to get mentioned a little bit here this week, not only by the players, but from the guy that's sitting here. Now, hopefully they listen, you know, because last year we didn't listen to it. It went to deaf ears. And not saying San Diego State wasn't a good football team, but we went down there and they put it on us.
Anyone else?
Okay. All right. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, guys.